Hi, this is just some guy talking about Doctor Who because why not? I do what I want. So today I'm talking about the Gunfighters, a 1966 story with William Hartnell as the Doctor, and this one has quite a history. Things started to go very wrong with the show, basically because of this story. Get into all that later. When watching this, the first thing you notice is that it's a musical. It's a Doctor Who that's a musical. So, because every 5 minutes you get a song over it. It's your last chance of swinging. It's your last chance. It's your last chance. Da da. The last chance of loon. Da 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 da. There'll be blood on the sawdust at the last chance. It's so annoying. It just keeps playing in this one, and frankly, it just makes you hate this story to begin with. Of course, the person, I don't know if she was singing it, but certainly the one who was playing the singer in the story, was the woman from Come Outside. So that's got instant childhood nostalgia points with me. She was also, of course, in Enlightenment and Closing Time. I can't remember. I think it was like Linda somebody. Sorry, I've forgotten that. But the acting in this one from the supporting cast is quite poor. Like, all the cowboys in this story are just really poorly acted. It's like they're doing a pantomime, which, again, seeing how this is a musical Doctor Who, it just doesn't, it's just wrong. The two performances in this that weren't so bad would be that of William Hartnell and Peter Purvis's, and, well, Hartnell, of course, was just great, and Peter Purvis seemed to be sort of adding a bit of a comedy value to this, and that's, when I was watching episode 1 particularly, I was just like only interested just to see how Stephen was reacting to things. Though, of course, Hartnell and Purvis did both hate working on this story, because apparently the director, Rex Tucker, felt that directing Doctor Who was beneath him. And in fact, for episode 4, he had an argument with Innes Lloyd, the producer, and refused to have his name on the credits for it. You could tell there was a lot of sort of probably arguments going on behind the scenes. Creative differences, shall we say. But this one was beneath me. It was a musical Doctor Who that was, of course, a Wild West genre story. And of course, what you have to bear in mind is that back in the 50s, early 60s, Wild West films were everywhere. Like, they were to then as superhero films are to now. This is basically the classic era equivalent of the return of Dr. Mysterio. And audiences watching at the time were pretty sick of Wild West films by now, like cowboy stuff. And so that's why the ratings for this one were quite poor. Let's just say that it's got the lowest audience index figures in Doctor Who history. Episode 3, I think, got an audience index of 36, which is dire. If you don't know, the audience index is to check the quality of their programming. They survey 20,000 viewers and ask them to rate shows out of 100 and then average them out. 36 is really low. In fact, if you look on a graph of Doctor Who audience indexes, and I'm probably going to bring it up now knowing me, you can see where the Gunfighters are. It just plummets for a bit and then bounces back up. But the viewing figures for this story did also demonstrate that, because the figures were in about low 6 million. Of course, in the late Capaldi era, 6 million was a godsend. But people just did not want to watch this. And it was because of these poor ratings that they decided to get rid of historical Doctor Who stories and make it purely science fiction, because of course when the show first started, they wanted to have sci-fi and history side by side. So one story serial, it would be science fiction, the next it would be historical, the next it would be science fiction. And that's how basically the entire Hartnell era went. But it was clear that with the Daleks and that the sci-fi episodes were more popular than the historicals. But it was this story that made the BBC turn around and say, sod it, just get rid of all the historicals and just have science fiction. And so the last historical in that sense, because it was also Black Orchid, but that's different. The last one was The Highlanders with Patrick Troughton later that year. Yeah, it's this isn't a good one. It's very famous for its historical inaccuracies. I did not know much about the gunfight at the OK Corral. I knew nothing about it. After watching this story, I went to look it up because I had heard so much about the historical inaccuracies of this. Let's just say the title of episode 3 is Johnny Ringo. Johnny Ringo is a main character in episodes 3 and 4. Johnny Ringo was not involved in the gunfight at the OK Corral. In fact, of the 5 outlaws in the story, about 2 or 3 of them weren't at the OK Corral, and of the about 4, 5, 6 that were, only less than half of them are actually in the story. Dr. Holliday gets mixed up with William Hartnell's doctor, and the actor playing him was about 50. Dr. Holliday, at the time of the gunfight at the OK Corral, was 30. One of the Earp brothers that's in this story was not at the gunfight. Some of the people who died in this story did not die in real life, etc., etc. It's very inaccurate, and I didn't even realise this, but maybe audiences back in the 60s did, because, you know, they had seen plenty of films about the OK Corral. So yeah, it's... I mean, what more is there to say about it? It carries on from the cliffhanger from the end of the Celestial Toymaker, because of course back in those days there were cliffhangers between serials, and well, the cliffhanger was literally the Doctor bites into some sweets that the Toymaker's left for him, then sort of like does this little "oh" as he drops the sweets on the floor, and it's like, oh, has he been poisoned? No, he's just got a toothache. And he goes to Dr. Holliday as his dentist. Was Dr. Holliday a dentist? No. Just no, he wasn't. But yeah, I guess this story does have an entertainment value. If you know absolutely nothing about the gunfight like I didn't, and you don't know about like how this would have been perceived back in the mid-60s, it's an alright story. Acting's pretty dire, but as I said, Hartnell and Purvis really tried to make up for that. And yeah, this was the last story to have individual story titles, because of course in the Hartnell era it was, you had the serials, but each individual episode had an individual title. The next story after it, The Savages, it went to being The Savages episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, The War Machines episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Yes, this was midway through a series. You'd think they would just keep doing it up to the end of the series, but no. But back in those days, series breaks weren't really like a change in production. They were just, you know, a week off. So yeah, this story, I'd say the gunfight at the end, in real life only lasted 30 seconds. Of course, in this it lasts for a couple of minutes. It's quite fun, I guess. It's the best thing about the story. Certainly better than all the "You'll be swinging in the last chance saloon." Da, na, 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 na. Oh god, my head. The gunfight's okay. Is there anything else about this story? Because honestly, it's just loads of cowboys doing cowboy things for 100 minutes. Oh yeah, Dodo's in it. Yeah, Jackie Lane, she was in this one. Yeah, so what would I rate this story? A 2 out of 10. It is rumoured that it was seen as the worst Doctor Who story by fans for quite a while, but of course all the polls say no, it's the twin dilemma. In fact, Gunfighters, I don't think has made it into the bottom 10, but its reputation is way beyond it itself. It's a 2 out of 10. It's not good. Why this one's surviving, I don't know. All 4 episodes of this one survived. I honestly, if I was Ian Levine and I was going to the BBC, they must have already destroyed all the good ones. I don't know why they saved this one for Ian Levine to buy, because he bought this one in the arc and the whole of the first 2 seasons basically, and that's why they survived. Why didn't he buy The Massacre, or Celestial Toymaker, or Dalek's Master Plan, The Mythmakers? Why did the Gunfighters get preserved by the BBC? Why? It's so... Literally, when destroying the old episodes, they must have thought, right, which ones are poorly rated? Okay, this one got an AI of 36. Burn it. Wipe it off the face of the earth. No, they kept. There were many stories I would rather have seen survive than the Gunfighters. But yeah, it survived. So yeah, what am I doing next week? I'm doing Attack of the Cybermen. Yeah, it's better than the Gunfighters. A lot's better than the Gunfighters.